The following live stream has been pre-recorded. Any special weather reports or tornado warnings that are present during this program should be checked within 30 minutes from your local television stations. Thank you.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Live from Riverside, this is AJ&E News. Now reporting, AJ Baker and Ethan Jakowski.
Good evening, everyone. It is 9:58 p.m. as I burp. Anyways, it's 9:58 p.m. where we are. I'm Ethan Jakowski.
And I am AJ Baker. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, we did take a little bit of an unexpected break. We do apologize for that very much.
But we're back with a busy news.
We do have a special report to get to NBC News. That's apparently starting in just a moment. But while I have the moment, I would like to announce something new that is coming into AJ&E News. Here at AJ&E News, mainly me, who actually produces and releases the productions, would like to commemorate each news organization that has helped us with each story that we have. Therefore, all of the short-term videos, so the YouTube shorts that we put out, will now be officially co-associated with said news organization, so that we can give them the credit that their journalists so well deserve. Excuse me. With that, it's about 10 seconds until the special report, so we're gonna take you there. Here's NBC News.
I'm going to start with that.
An NBC News special report. Here's Hallie Jackson.
Good day. We are coming on the air with breaking news. President Trump has apparently fired his Attorney General, Pam Bondi, according to a senior administration official and a source familiar with the matter. This comes after NBC News learned that the president has grown frustrated with his Attorney General in recent days, according to multiple sources. I want to get right to our team covering all of it. Our Chief Justice and National Affairs correspondent Kelly O'Donnell is joining us. We've also got our White House correspondent Monica Alba as well. Kelly, let me start with you. This is not altogether surprising, considering the reporting from NBC that the president was frustrated with Bondi's performance leading the Department of Justice.
And we've often seen the president let some of his intentions, feelings, concerns bubble out publicly as one measure of how he makes these decisions. For Pam Bondi, this is a blow because she has been a very loyal sort of friend and ally of the president for a long time, going back to Florida, assisting in the first Trump term. And this, in many ways, comes down to a representation of the frustration that President Trump has, that his vision for how he could exact retribution against political rivals and those who had, in his perception, done him wrong at some past point, to be brought to justice. That has not happened, even though this Department of Justice under Pam Bondi has attempted to do so in a number of areas where we've seen the failed attempts to prosecute James Comey or Letitia James. Then there's the broader issue of the Epstein files. There was a moment where Pam Bondi, who in the journey of her time as Attorney General has been both loyal but has also committed some self-inflicted errors, she talked about having the so-called Epstein list on her desk, and that never materialized. She had led people to believe there would be more coming on Epstein, and then initially last summer, the Department of Justice said the files would be closed, there was no action to be taken, and that triggered a groundswell that was a broader political coalition than you might expect, certainly those in the MAGA community and then those who were very supportive of the survivor community around Epstein. Hallie, you've talked to a number of those survivors, and there was a political
I do apologize, but we are going to have to cut that early. For more information on this piece of news, please go to NBCnews.com.
Or just watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Anyways, and more news tonight. I think AJ's got the next story, or yeah, don't you? Or don't I?
You do. The wildfire in
All right. Hit it.
California.
Hit it.
Oh, aren't you gonna introduce it first, though?
I am. All right. I guess I have the next story if I had the sound.
Oh, yeah. I am losing my mind. Okay.
Famous? Don't tell me you escaped the cage, but I was. Oh, Jesus.
Ethan.
Anyways, okay, I'm ready right now. Anyways, we have got a brush fire burning into a 50-acre wind-driven brush fire in Moreno Valley. KTLA5 has that story.
We want to go back out to breaking news. This is a live look at Moreno Valley where a big vegetation fire is rapidly spreading. Let's go straight out to Gil Levis overhead. Gil, what do you know so far?
Well, Lindsay, this broke out just about 11 this morning. As I zoom in here, you're seeing this where the fire first started. This is
Excuse me. Please excuse us. We seem to be having a few technical problems.
Is Seamus at it again?
Hopefully not. Let's try that again here, Ethan, shall we? Yeah, okay. So here is KTLA 5 with more information on that wildfire.
Again. Take two.
We want to go back out to breaking news. This is a live look at Moreno Valley where a big vegetation fire is rapidly spreading. Let's go straight out to Gil Levis overhead. Gil, what do you know so far?
Well, Lindsay, this broke out just about 11 this morning. As I zoom in here, you're seeing this where the fire first started. This is in the 15,900 block of Gilman Springs Road, and it's burning to the south and to the west. And as I zoom out here, I'm going to follow the burn scar here and all the smoke that's piling up here. This is a fast-moving grass fire that is wind-driven. As I come all the way across, you can see the amount of terrain that is burned. It's burning up a hill and towards some homes. I'm going to show you those homes right now. There's a neighborhood here on the other side of this hill. This is near Redlands Boulevard and Cactus Avenue. Now we're waiting on word for any word on evacuations, but at this point it's wind-driven, going up this hill pretty quickly, and firefighters have helicopters overhead and ground crews. They're trying to keep up with the pace of this fire, but again, it's driven by those strong winds that are out here right now. We're being bounced around up here in Sky 5, but you can see the fire line here. This is on the north and west side of the fire, but it's burning through some of that light grass and burning quickly up that hill and towards those neighborhoods. Now, it still has a ways to go to reach the neighborhoods farther to the west out in this area here, but in the meantime, firefighters doing what they can to get ahead of this fire and dropping water from the air and trying to get ground crews to do structure protection on those homes. But for now, it's putting up a lot of smoke. It's drifting off towards the south and west, and if you live in this area, you're going to want to close your doors and windows for sure to make sure you don't breathe in any of that smoke. But for now, I'm looking for any kind of firefighters that are trying to get into this neighborhood. So far, we're not seeing it, but I'm sure they're on their way right now. But you can see how close the fire is as it's starting to crest the small hill. They've already put in some fire retardant lines. You can see that red line there to try to contain it from moving or spreading to the north and to the west. But for now, the fire continues to race up this hill with and is burning out of control at this point. That's the latest overhead up in Sky 5. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you so much, Gil. Kai, we're looking at these pictures right now. Definitely what you like to see with some of those containment lines right there. But he was talking about the winds. Let's talk a little bit about that and what's going on in the area.
The Santa Ana winds, and what Gil was talking about is the retardant is down, which is great news. And as that fire is getting closer and closer to that community, moving in that westerly direction, fortunately, you saw a lot of rock and a lot less in terms of fuels that are on the ground. So I'm sure, of course, firefighters are well aware of that, and they're not too concerned. The winds, though, are a big factor. Lindsay just mentioned that, and so did Gil up in Sky 5. And these are Santa Ana winds that are now here in Southern California. And this, once again, is referred to as the Springs Fire. You can see the gusts at the...
Did it stop again?
No, it didn't stop again. That was KTL5. Sorry, Ethan. That was KTLA5 reporting on that. For more information on local weather around that area, please visit ktla5.com. All right,
on.
I have our next one. Let me just toss it over to myself. Ethan has a hot off the press story coming up later. But let's see, what do we have next? All right, let me do the transition thingy. All right, thank you so much. My story is actually quite the story, to say the least. A Hawaiian husband, has officially testified against a grand jury for attempting to murder his wife by hitting her with a rock at the top of her head. We have this piece of story officially from NBC News. This piece is from the Today Show.
I felt like a shove, and I was almost pushed over the edge.
After weeks of dramatic state witness testimony in the heat of a Hawaii courtroom, Maui Dr. Gerhard Koenig is now speaking out on his own behalf.
Did you have a plan to kill your wife on the mountain that day?
No.
Did you try to throw her off a cliff?
No.
Did you try to stab her with syringes?
No.
When you hit her with the rock twice, why did you do it?
In self-defense.
Telling the jury that it was his wife, Ariel, who attacked him first, and her bloody injuries were caused by a sudden violent scuffle that started moments after the couple took a selfie during a birthday hike on this Oahu trail. Koenig saying the two had been having problems because of Ariel's relationship with another man, but he still hoped they could work things out.
Did you plan this trip on Oahu to try and kill your wife?
No.
Were you trying to do something nice for her birthday?
Yes.
But prosecutors and Ariel say it was a deliberate, vengeful attack.
He takes a deep breath, and then he just starts hitting my face and my head with a rock.
Witnesses for the state included Gerhard's son from a previous marriage, who testified his father FaceTimed him immediately following the attack.
What did the defendant tell you during that call? That Ari, my stepmom, had been cheating on him, and that he tried to kill her.
Dr. Koenig growing emotional as he testified he was in severe distress during the call, contemplating suicide, and his son misunderstood what he was saying.
He saved my life that day, but I put him in this position where he is now, where he thinks I tried to kill her.
The doctor hoping to convince the jury to believe his version of events.
You reacted to defend yourself in the heat of that moment. You said yes?
Yes.
But did you still feel bad about it?
Yes.
So, Steve, the case is now entering its final chapter. What's coming next?
Yeah, Laura, the judge is indicating to the jury that the case is entering its final hours. Koenig will be cross-examined by prosecutors as court resumes today, likely followed by closing arguments before court goes dark on Friday. He estimates the jury is likely to have the case by sometime next week. Laura.
All right, we'll see what happens on cross-examination.
And that was the Today Show with that story, and that's the Today Show you showed me.
Yes. Thank you so much. Quite an interesting story there. Ethan has quite the load of interesting stories this evening, including this next one. Ethan, I will toss it over to you.
And you're welcome for that story, today's story. Even though we need to do traffic one day. Anyways, alright, okay, this is a really interesting story. Doctors, nurses arrested social health care fraud investigation. ABC 7 with that story.
A major healthcare fraud investigation here in Southern California. Defendants built the U.S. out of more than $50 million. That's according to the U.S. Department of Justice, saying doctors and nurses were arrested today. Eyewitness News reporter Annabelle Munoz has the details.
The FBI provided this video, part of a series of search and arrest warrants conducted across Southern California this morning over suspected health fraud, including in hospice care.
These defendants recruited beneficiaries who were not terminally ill and paid them to pose as patients receiving hospice care. Medicare then paid millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, on false and fraudulent claims submitted by fraudsters.
Among the 8 people arrested, a Covina couple. The Justice Department says 66-year-old psychologist Gladwin Gill and his wife, a registered nurse, operated a fraudulent hospice business out of Glendale.
This particular hospice submitted more than $5.2 million in fraudulent claims, and Medicare actually paid out more than $4 million.
Mr. Gill's attorney told Eyewitness News he denies the allegations and looks forward to his day in court. Asaili was joined by Dr. Mehmet Oz, head of the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services.
We're going to review every single hospice in California to make sure that they're all appropriate, and we hope to do that expeditiously. We'll do it this year.
During the news conference, federal authorities were asked about this video California Governor Gavin Newsom said his office was reviewing back in January. Oz, who is Turkish-American, stood in front of an Armenian-owned bakery in Van Nuys alleging widespread fraud in the area. Asaili confirmed none of the defendants named today were connected to that video. Dr. Oz responded to the outcry that his accusations, which the business owner denounced as false, were discriminatory.
I was stating the facts as they've been explained to me, and we have a lot of evidence of where the fraud is just looking at the numbers.
Oz did not provide any evidence against a specific business in connection to that video. Today, he suggested half of LA County hospice care facilities are fraudulent, pointing to survival percentages as evidence.
World experts at CMS say if you've got 100% or near survival, certainly if you've got a survival over 50% for population that's supposed to have passed in 6 months, you've got a problem.
Governor Gavin Newsom responded to the accusations the state has not done enough, saying in part, the Trump administration, home of the biggest fraudsters on earth, is trying to blame California for issues with their federal programs. His press office said California has taken action for years, including suspending more than 280 licenses and banning new ones. Annabelle Munoz, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
And that was ABC 7 with that story. Let's go to AJ.
Yes, thank you, Ethan. Let me just take care of the transfer here. We still have more stories coming into the newsroom, which we will cover later. But for now, we go on to another story. And that is quite an unfortunate one. The families of the Tahoe Mountain victims. Let me rephrase that. Excuse me. The victims' families from the Tahoe Mountain skiing incident have identified the victims by their victims' families. Excuse me. For more information, here is WTRX. Or WTRK.
Man, you're having a lot of tongue twisters
yeah,
today.
Here's WTRK News.
Man, you're having tongue twisters today.
This morning, families are sharing the names of several of the victims killed in that deadly Castle Peak avalanche near Lake Tahoe. Among them are Carrie Atkin, Danielle Keatley, Kate Morse, and Carolyn Seeker. Families describing their loved ones as passionate and skilled skiers who cherish their time together. This comes as we're learning more about the events leading up to the tragedy. Authorities calling this California's one of their deadliest avalanches on record. Dan Noyes has more.
I spoke with San Francisco attorney Theo Emerson as he headed out for a run at Palisades Tahoe today. Some of the Marin County moms who booked that backcountry ski trip were in his friend group.
I don't know any of them personally, but I've had friends who know them, so it's 1 degree of separation for me. I think it's an absolute tragedy.
Emerson is also an experienced backcountry skier, and he questions the decision by Blackbird Mountain Guides to send the 11 clients and 4 guides into Castle Peak. A snowmobile rider died there last month in an avalanche, and a new avalanche watch went out this past Sunday right before the women and their guides set out to the same area.
We have a pretty fundamental rule in avalanche education. If it's a high-risk avalanche day, you stay out of avalanche terrain.
The founder of Blackbird Mountain Guides, Zeb Blay, issued a statement overnight. We ask that people following this tragedy refrain from speculating. We don't have all the answers yet, and it may be some time before we do. Blay also said this is the saddest event his team has experienced. In addition to mourning the loss of 6 clients, we also mourn the loss of 3 highly experienced members of our guide team. But questions linger whether the Blackbird Mountain Guide team should have taken special caution after a weeks-long snow drought. That old snow had hardened, then came several feet of new snow.
And so that snow, new fallen snow, sits on a very firm layer, and it doesn't have the time to bond well. And so it is already unstable.
There was a likelihood of natural avalanches, meaning non-human triggered avalanches that day. There was a likelihood of human triggered avalanches that day. And so it's just a tragic thing that this group found themselves in that terrain at that time.
And that was WTRK News reporting on that story. Thank you so much. We do have to warn you about this next story, though, that some of the details involved in this next story that Ethan is about to cover is slightly disturbing. Ethan, we go over to you.
Even inappropriate too. Good lord. I wonder if there's a bleeping sound for this one, just in case we get banned for saying this.
Well, we shouldn't get banned. We're a source providing the news from multiple other sources. It shouldn't be against.
Well, still, we need to do traffic.
Oh, come on. Okay, Ethan. I've already done the transition. Please.
Okay. Yes, Seamus. I mean, whatever. Anyways, well, you may get disturbed, but before we talk about it, do not do this at home, kids, because this is inappropriate and you can get arrested for this. Anyways, teacher A charged with sexually assaulting kids over 10 years old, 10 years old span. ABC6 Philadelphia has this story. And do not try this, you'll get arrested. Anyways, ABC6 has a story.
We are learning more today about a disturbing arrest out of Atlantic County. A pre-K teacher's aide is charged with sexually abusing multiple children over a 10-year span. New Jersey correspondent Trish Hartman is live in Summers Point with why authorities are concerned there could be more victims. Good evening, Trish.
Hi, Tamala. Yeah, we spoke to parents at that school in Woodbine who are also very concerned. Now, the allegations detailed in the court documents that we received today are extremely concerning and disturbing. Sean Stebbins was arrested on Sunday, and he's accused of abusing 4 siblings over a period of 10 years. 43-year-old Sean Stebbins of Summers Point, an elementary school teacher's aide, is charged with sexual assault of a child, photographing a child in a sex act, and more. Court documents detailed disturbing allegations of abuse in his home from 2014 to 2025. Authorities say one of the now adult victims came forward last week, which led to the discovery of 3 more victims, all siblings.
Persons who commit these type of acts put themselves in positions to have access to children, and it's exactly what happened in this particular case.
Authorities say Stebbins has worked as a pre-kindergarten teacher's aide at Woodbine Elementary School since 2022, and they're very concerned there could be more victims.
We really need to be vigilant, and if the parents are notified by their children, we would request immediately call local law enforcement where they live.
Action News obtained this memo the school sent to parents today explaining Stebbins was contracted through the vendor ESS. It says in part, quote, upon being informed of the arrest, the district immediately requested a replacement aide. The safety and well-being of our students remain our highest priority.
I just went to my son and asked him about if you know the teacher. I showed him the picture and he said yes.
Emmanuel Rios has 3 children at Woodbine Elementary, 1 in the pre-K program.
They got to investigate. We need to know what happened because it's concerning. I mean, there's a lot of kids with disabilities there.
And we have reached out to that vendor ESS and we have not heard back today. Stebbins is locked up in the Atlantic County Jail pending a detention hearing that is scheduled for Monday. He does not have an attorney listed. We're live in Summers Point, New Jersey. Trish Hartman, Channel 6, Action News.
All right, Trish, thanks for that report. Like I said, do not try this at home. You can get arrested and stuff. And yeah. Anyways, I think we're on number 7, which Mr. Baker has got. What's your next story, Mr. Baker? Right, you're muted.
Excuse me. Yes, and it is actually a quite surprising and groundbreaking story. Well, not necessarily groundbreaking, but groundbreaking for the Missing Children Corporation. Anyhow, a 13-year-old Arizona girl that went missing 32 years ago has been found alive and has been identified. For more information on this, we have NBC News with Kate Snow.
A decades-old cold case in Arizona has now been solved. A 13-year-old girl who disappeared nearly 32 years ago has been found alive. The Gila County Sheriff's Office says she had, quote, vanished without a trace from her community. Joining us now is NBC News correspondent Liz Kreutz, who's following this one. Liz, what have authorities said about who this woman is and how she went missing as a teen?
Yeah, hi, Kate. So this woman was 13 years old at the time. Her name is Christina Marie Plante. And according to reports at the time, she was last seen walking from her home in Star Valley, Arizona, which is a rural community about an hour and a half northeast of Phoenix, walking from her home to a nearby horse stable where she had a horse. And that was the last anybody had seen of her, and that she vanished and disappeared. It prompted a huge search at the time locally with law enforcement and volunteers out handing out flyers. But unfortunately, no leads developed, and this case went cold until now, 32 years later, and authorities say they have confirmed her identity and that she has been found alive now at the age of 44.
And Liz, this case went cold, but as I understand it, it was never closed. What do we know about how she was found?
Yeah, so it was never closed. It's one of those things where they always, tried to, find new leads if they could. But we don't really know a lot about the circumstances for how she was abducted and what's happened over the past 3 decades. Police in their statement said that they're withholding more details of this case out of respect for her privacy and her well-being. We were talking to experts who said, look, it's speculative. It could have been that she's been held captive this whole time. It could be she wasn't, but somehow she was told a different story and just recently on her own discovered her identity. Perhaps it could have been a runaway situation, although news clippings at the time do say that they believe she was abducted by a stranger. So a lot we still don't know. But it does show you how advances in technology can help, because the department did say that they were able to utilize new technologies to find this and to resolve this cold case. And we do have a statement from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which, Kate, I know you've done stories on. We've talked a lot about this group with the case of Nancy Guthrie, and they say in a statement, cases like this are exactly why we do what we do. No matter how much time passes, even decades, we never give up. Because of technology, we're seeing more and more breakthroughs in cases once thought unsolvable. Kate.
All right, Liz, thanks so much.
And that was NBC News' Kate Snow with that story. And now,
yes, and thank you. And you have our next story.
I will see you later. I'm going to be doing Detroit. Nice, thanks.
Yeah, I will toss it over to you.
Anyways, oh, geez, another embarrassing story. Second suspect sought after baby fatally shot in stroller in Brooklyn. ABC 7 New York has a story.
But we begin tonight with that deadly shooting of that little girl in Brooklyn.
Eyewitness News reporter Stefan Kim is live on the scene in East Williamsburg with new information on what happened. Stefan?
Well, Sade and Mike, those suspects opened fire into a crowd standing over there, several strollers and children in that group. The family of that baby then ran into that deli on the corner for cover. Workers in there say it took several minutes before the family realized the baby had been struck. What ensued was unimaginable heartbreak. Chaos and panic in East Williamsburg, Brooklyn, after gunfire erupted around 1:20 this afternoon. One of those bullets striking and killing a 7-month-old baby, a life that had barely begun, taken in an instant. Witnesses say they heard 3 shots.
I thought it was fireworks, but then it hit me in my leg. I got like little metal pieces on my leg.
That baby's mother and father and older sibling ran into this deli on the corner.
When she moved there, she see the other baby bleeding. Then she go crying and go crazy.
The suspects, meanwhile, fled from Humboldt and Moore Streets on a moped, heading the wrong way down a one-way street. 2 blocks away, they collided head-on with an oncoming vehicle. Both men thrown from the moped. The rear passenger, the alleged gunman, landed so hard, both his shoes came off as he hit the pavement. Workers at a deli where that happened say their firearm was flung into the street.
It looked like it's a gun. Yeah, it's a pistol gun, I don't know, something like that. They pick it up and also they left in the floor a couple of stuff, like a sando. I picked up the sando and I gave it to the police.
The alleged gunman can be seen here limping after the collision. He was rushed to a hospital where he was later taken into custody. Investigators say this is the driver, last seen fleeing more than a mile away. Their moped found nearby and recovered by police.
He is the subject of a massive NYPD manhunt, and all New York City police officers have a very clear picture of this outstanding suspect on their phones. In addition, NYPD bloodhounds are currently working to track his movements.
There are no words that can mend the heartbreak this family is feeling now. No declaration strong enough to lift the grief they are now forced to carry. No embrace wide enough to heal the hole that has been left in their lives.
Police say this was a gang-motivated shooting. The suspect in custody has been arrested on an unrelated incident, a domestic violence-related robbery. This victim has been identified as 7-month-old Kaori Patterson Moore. Reporting live in East Williamsburg, Stefan Kim, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks for that story. And now we go to AJ.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to transition here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ethan, for all of the stories that you bring us each night, starting from now forward. Anyway, now we have a piece on Artemis 2, which should be well known to most of you watching, because it is another rocket with humans in it on its way to the moon. We have a piece from PBS NewsHour. Excuse me for just a minute.
Is it not playing?
Okay, let's try this again. Oh, okay. It's no good.
You broke it.
Oh, nope, I didn't break it. Here we go. Let's try this again. Here's PBS NewsHour.
For the first time in more than 50 years, the U.S. is sending astronauts back toward the moon.
GLS is go for core stage engine start.
Integrity, good roll pitch. Roger, roll
Incredible
pitch.
stuff. Just moments ago, NASA launched Artemis 2 from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, sending a crew of 4 astronauts on a 10-day voyage around the moon and back to Earth. If all goes as planned, they'll travel farther into deep space than any humans before them. The flight marks a key step in the broader Artemis program, which aims to put humans back on our moon surface by 2028. And joining me now from the Space Center in Florida is our science correspondent, Miles O'Brien. So, Miles, take us into that moment. What was it like to see liftoff there? Just tell us what you saw and heard around you.
Well, I've covered probably 40 shuttle launches in my career, and nothing was like this. This was a much more powerful rocket, a rocket that is on its way to another celestial body. 4 people on board, lifted off the planet by an orchestra, a symphony of work on the part of a team here that put it all together. There were some glitches in the countdown, which caused some concern, but in the end, they worked them all out, and they had a very clean ride to space. They're now in space and beginning the process of checking out this vehicle on a test flight that will last 9 days and take them around the moon.
So, Miles, you mentioned a couple of glitches there. I know folks who are watching may have seen some delays. What was going on there? What should we know?
You know, in the end, it's minor stuff. There was problems with some battery indications. There was a loss of telemetry briefly. There was concern about the launch termination system. All of it got worked out. I will say this, there's been a lot of concern that this team here doesn't have enough practice because Artemis has flown so infrequently. But clearly, they've done a good job practicing. They worked these problems efficiently, and they got this rocket into space safely, and so far so good.
So, Miles, stay with us. I think we're having a few connection issues. We'll see if we can push through them here, because I'd love to hear more about what exactly this mission entails. What are they hoping to do over the next 9 or 10 days?
They're going to take a long pass around the moon, and it's the first mission like this in 53 years since Apollo 17.
Oh.
Did it stop again?
Nope. I just kind of cut it off. For more information on this story, actually, we should have it back now.
It begins a campaign which NASA hopes will lead to a permanent encampment.
Are we having technical difficulties again?
Yes, just as the folks at PBS NewsHour were, we are experiencing some connection issues. We try
Should we
this
just
again.
move on to the next? Should we just move on to the next story?
Nope, I think
An American fighter jet has been shot down over Iran,
right,
according to
let's try
U.S.
this
officials,
again. We have the
sparking a
rest
major
of the
search and
film
rescue operation inside the country. What's believed to be an F-15 Strike Eagle went down in the southwest of Iran. One crew member was rescued by U.S. forces, according to CBS News, but the fate of the other person on board...
Diverse crew, a crew that has been...
9 suspects involved in the...
What is going on today?
Maine have been arrested. Officials... Officials say the alleged ringleader behind the attack.
Okay, we do apologize, ladies and gentlemen.
Is there technical difficulties again?
We do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. We do seem to have a serious amount of technical difficulties.
What are we gonna do? Are we gonna cut the news early?
9 suspects involved in...
Hold on, I'm gonna see if the recording still goes through. I'm gonna refresh my...
I guess I can share some news. Hello. We're still going.
Alright.
Can you hear me?
Yep. I'm gonna go to layout. I'm gonna go here, split us two. Okay, with that, because that took a little longer than normal, we are gonna move on to our next story. So Ethan, you have that.
Hopefully that doesn't cut out again. What are we on, 11?
We're on the CBS Texas.
A 10, sorry. I thought we were on 11 for a second. Did you get the noise?
What noise?
The
Oh.
You are driving me bananas today, sir, that's for sure. Okay, I'm going. Anyways, Feds arrest all 9 suspects in Gucci Mane kidnapping, including Pooh Shiesty. How do you pronounce that?
9 suspects involved in the robbery and kidnapping of rapper Gucci Mane have been arrested. Officials say the alleged ringleader behind the attack was rapper Pooh Shiesty. Our Braseda Olguin has been on top of this story and has the latest.
Aside from learning that the 9th and final suspect has been arrested, we've been able to obtain video which shows the FBI at Pooh Shiesty's home the day he was arrested. Take a look at that video. This happened in Memphis. Federal authorities say Shiesty was the ringleader behind the attack on Gucci Mane here in Dallas. That incident happened back in January at a music studio located off Dallas Parkway. The DOJ says Gucci Mane and 2 others were allegedly kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint. They say 9 people were involved, including Pooh Shiesty's father and Big 30. For background, Pooh Shiesty signed on to Gucci Mane's record label back in 2020. And according to the DOJ, Pooh Shiesty is the one who set up the meeting to discuss his recording contract.
As alleged, Williams Jr. produced an AK-style pistol and forced one of the victims to sign a release from the recording contract at gunpoint. The remaining conspirators displayed firearms and robbed the other victims of Rolex watches, jewelry, cash, and other high-value items.
Pooh Shiesty was released from federal prison in October and was placed on home confinement for a previous conviction, meaning that it's likely he was wearing an ankle monitor at the time of the crime. Officials say all 9 suspects will be transported here to North Texas, where they will face their crimes. Now, if convicted, each suspect can face life in prison. For now,
as Meredith would say, CBS's whatever that name was. Thank you for joining us for this evening news. Now we go to Mr. Forgot his name, Mr. Baker.
Yes, Ethan, and thank you so much. I'm gonna toss it over.
Toss the coin. Okay, toss. There you go.
All right, thank you so much. Now, we have more of a bizarre story. We have many bizarre stories this evening. New video in Minnesota is showing 2 individuals locking an infant in a car for over an hour. Now, you get the most interesting stuff in, especially out of state. That's what you have when reporting the news. Anyway, to repeat, new video has been released showing 2 male individuals locking an infant in a car for supposedly over an hour. Here is CBS
we begin
News
with
Minnesota.
a stolen SUV and a startling discovery.
That is the moment the thieves realized they had stolen more than an SUV. There was a 3-month-old baby in the back seat. New at 6, Connor White shows how long that 3-month-old was left all alone.
You might remember this scary situation from Tuesday evening in North Minneapolis. A mother screaming as she sees someone not just take her car, but her 3-month-old baby still in the back seat. WCCO obtained new video of what happened just minutes later. The apparent thief exits the vehicle in an alleyway. Regrouping with 4 others, they try to pile into the SUV, but then they discover the 3-month-old baby. The group then scatters, leaving at least 1 car door open. The baby left alone for more than an hour, eventually found safe by Minneapolis police.
It did not happen as quickly as I had hoped.
Police Chief Brian O'Hara speaking to WCCO on Wednesday, acknowledging the search took longer than he'd like. Security camera timestamps show that the car was first stolen at 8:07 p.m. The group abandons the vehicle and the baby at 8:11. Police arrive at 9:13. This alleyway, just half a mile from the daycare parking lot where the thief took the car.
We were doing everything possible to escalate to the point where we were about to issue an Amber Alert.
He says officers performing a grid search of the area found the car before that Amber Alert was necessary. O'Hara says they used every tool available, including drones, canines, and city cameras. In Minneapolis, with photojournalist Jose Pascal, Connor White, WCCO News.
Police are still searching for the people involved. They say that car thefts are up by about 28% in Minneapolis compared to last year.
And that was CBS News Minnesota, and they're reporting on this sort of interesting type of story. We just have a lot of interesting stories tonight. We are down to our last 3 stories of the night, in which Ethan has our next one. Ethan, I'll toss it over to you. Hold on. And here you go.
Thanks, AJ. And you have a nice shirt there, kind sir.
Thank you.
Anyways, I wish we can keep the news going, but we got 3 more. I wish we can get up to 1 million stories. Anyways, this is actually from WXYZ Detroit, where I'm at. Thanks to AJ for giving me that story. Anyways, Utica dentist faces 131 counts of Medicaid fraud. WXYZ Detroit, where I live, has that story. Well, I'm not from Detroit. I'm from Michigan. I'm not going to explain what.
A Macomb County dentist is accused of masterminding a multi-million-dollar Medicaid scam. Thank you for staying with us today. I'm Glenda Lewis. That dentist is now facing a staggering 131 counts. State investigators say the alleged fraud scheme involved payments for crowns that dozens of patients never received or were necessary. 7 News Detroit reporter Evan Siri went to Utica to try to talk to the dentist charged with racketeering.
The Attorney General's office says 37-year-old Dr. Fadi Salim is being charged with over 130 counts of Medicaid fraud, each punishable up to 4 years in prison. Dr. Fadi Salim is accused of cashing in on clients receiving government benefits, the alleged fraud involving dental crowns. In a statement, the AG's office telling us that Dr. Salim repeatedly billed the taxpayer-funded Medicaid program for placing large number of crowns on individual patients that were both unnecessary and never provided. When I went into Dr. Salim's Utica office, a secretary told me they were closed and he'd be back Monday. He then sent me a statement saying, quote, "I want to be clear. My office operates with strict adherence to all legal and insurance standards. We hold ourselves to a high level of accountability, and our priority has always been delivering exceptional care to our patients, both locally and from out of state. I'm confident that the full facts will come to light, and I look forward to speaking more openly and provide more details once this process is resolved," end quote. 7 News Detroit did talk to Salim in 2020 when his office donated thousands of masks to a local hospital during COVID.
And then now, since we're closed, we felt like, there are more people that are in need of these masks, that we should donate it to them.
Salim was arraigned on March 19th in East Lansing before being granted a $50,000 personal bond. Dr. Salim has been charged with 1 count of conducting a criminal enterprise, which is a 20-year felony, and 131 counts of Medicaid fraud. The AG's office says the alleged fraud was discovered when patients who allegedly had many crowns billed under their benefits were subsequently told they were not covered for needed treatment because their annual benefits were exhausted. And they're asking former patients who believe they may have been billed for crowns or other services that were never provided to contact the AG's office. Salim will be back in court next month.
Alright, we're gonna stop right there, and that was and Glenda Lewis, and that was an Evan Siri with that story. Evan and Olivia, thanks for that story. And now, Mr. Baker, I hear you have another weird story, don't you?
Well, it's not necessarily.
I meant bizarre. Sorry, not bizarre.
It's
Weird.
not.
Bizarre.
Hello, 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 hello. Can you hear
I
me?
can hear you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm just
Having technical difficulties again.
Anyhow, transition over, please. All right, thank you, Ethan. This is the second to last clip that we have for you. I also have some fun news to share in the entertainment world at the end of this broadcast. But now, new audio, along with the 911 audio, has been released for a missing U.S. Air Force member, whom is still yet to be found. With more information on that, here is NBC Nightly News.
My husband is missing.
Tonight, new audio from the wife of a retired Air Force general gone missing in New Mexico.
I have some indication that he must have planned not to be found.
That's William McCaslin's wife, Susan, during the call to authorities on February 27th, the day her husband disappeared. The call was first obtained by Law and Crime and later verified to NBC News by the Sheriff's Department.
He's left his phone, he changed his clothes into I don't know what. I think he's on foot.
McCaslin's disappearance generated a lot of speculation due to his past career as a high-ranking military general. McCaslin was retired, but at one point worked inside an Air Force base in Ohio, long rumored to house extraterrestrial debris, despite repeated Air Force denials. Following his disappearance, authorities confirmed only a few items were missing, including a .38 caliber revolver, adding McCaslin had stated he was experiencing mental fog. His wife telling this to the dispatcher.
Other than saying if his brain and body keep deteriorating, he didn't want to live like that. But it seemed to me that was just a, man, I hate how this is going kind of thing.
Camila Bernal, NBC News.
And that was NBC Nightly News with whoever that was, either Tom Lamas, Jose Diaz-Balart, or Hallie Jackson. Anyways, and let's just say that was NBC Nightly News with that story. Thanks for that story.
Yes, and thank you so much, Ethan. We have one last clip for you, until I share some exciting news. But Ethan, what is your final story?
Couldn't we keep going with the news? Like stay here till midnight?
No, of course we couldn't stay here till midnight.
Oh, thank you. We can. Thank you.
No, we can't. We can't.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Well,
anyway, go ahead.
After this news, I got my pajamas on. Anyways, Iran and U.S. forces race to find missing American airman, and after fighting, jets shot down. BBC News with this interesting story.
An American fighter jet has been shot down over Iran, according to U.S. officials, sparking a major search and rescue operation inside the country. What's believed to be an F-15 Strike Eagle went down in the southwest of Iran. One crew member was rescued by U.S. forces, according to CBS News, but the fate of the other person on board remains unknown. Iranian state television has been showing pictures of what it says is debris from the jet and has broadcast an offer of a reward for anyone who captures a downed U.S. crew member alive. President Trump has been briefed on the situation. Tonight there are reports that a second jet, an A-10 Warthog, crashed after coming under fire while assisting in the first rescue. That pilot ejected to safety. Our first report tonight is from Tom Bateman in Washington.
U.S. search helicopters prowl the skies over southern Iran, now in a deadly race to find America's missing airmen. Iranian state TV showing pictures of what it says is the wreckage of the downed U.S. fighter plane. The Iranians claim it was shot down by an air defense system as it flew over a rugged province in southwestern Iran. Pictures on social media purport to show one of the two ejector seats. These images are as yet unverified, but appear to be consistent with parts of an F-15 fighter jet. US officials say they launched a combat rescue mission under fire, finding one of the F-15 crew, its pilot. But the recovery helicopter was hit by gunfire, injuring crew members. These pictures appear to show men in a field opening fire on American Pavehawk helicopters used in search operations. We verified this footage was filmed today. Another plane involved was also hit, an A-10 Warthog like this. Its pilot ejected over the Gulf and was rescued. Meanwhile, Iranian government messages have been broadcast calling on residents to join a hunt for the pilots, offering a bounty for their capture. This is the F-15E Strike Eagle, one of America's most advanced fighter planes. It's used for bombing raids and to shoot down drones. Behind the pilot is a weapons systems officer. Shown here at RAF Lakenheath in Suffolk, Iran's military claims the downed plane was from the Lakenheath squadron, but the BBC has not confirmed this. This former F-15 pilot says the missing crew member will have been equipped for survival. Once they're on the ground there, what's going to be going through their minds?
First thing is, how do I get myself away from where it is that I am? And then how do I make contact with friendly forces to get myself back into friendly hands?
The White House says President Trump has been briefed. He said nothing publicly about the rescue operation, posting only on social media about Iran. Keep the oil, anyone? US Central Command yesterday released pictures of what it called its undeniable progress, saying Iran's air defense systems had been largely destroyed. But its claims to have free reign over Iran's skies will ring hollow, with the first known loss of a manned US aircraft there since the start of the war, and a perilous search behind Iranian lines. The fate of the missing crew member could determine the direction of this conflict, already unpopular with Americans, overseen by a leader looking for ways to end it.
And Tom joins us from Washington. So what is the latest tonight where you are, Tom?
Well, Jane, we are told that President Trump's national security team has been gathered in the West Wing of the White House all day, providing him updates on that search and rescue operation, as you've been hearing, taking place under fire, with one of the crew of that F-15 still unaccounted for. Now, Mr. Trump has said nothing specifically about the operation itself, but he's done two very brief newspaper interviews here in Washington in the last hour or so. First saying he wouldn't comment on the operation, but then asked if it would affect negotiations. He said no to that question. He was also asked about what he would do, what his response would be if that airman was harmed. And he said simply that he hoped that wasn't going to happen. At the same time, we hear that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has sealed off a huge area there in that rugged terrain around southwestern Iran, where they've been using troops and locals to search for the missing person, but so far no sign of them. And so you now have a race by two deadly adversaries for a missing American military service member, and so far no word about their condition.
Tom, thank you. Tom Bateman in Washington. Well, meanwhile, Iran has continued to strike Israel and its Gulf.
And that was BBC News with that story. And I think this is our final story, but I think before we go, AJ has some entertaining news, don't you?
Yes, I do have some happy news in the entertainment world that might please a lot of fans that I am excited to share. Well, some various German sources have stated that the famous All-American Girl group, the top American girl group, still the top-selling American girl group of all time, Destiny's Child, along with Beyonce, Knowles, Kelly Rowland, and Michelle, them being Destiny's Child, are going on a European tour. This leaves fans asking, will they reach North America? North America has not been confirmed nor denied, but German sources have said that they are coming towards that area. So fans are speculating. Anyhow, that is the end of our news tonight. It is going right on 11 o'clock. We have 1 minute officially. This is officially become our first official hour broadcast, which is crazy.
In April too, long time.
But yeah, of course, the news day that we return was going to be a busy one. Anyway, we thank all of the news organizations that helped us out in this program. Also, all of the news organizations will be mentioned in the YouTube shorts that will be uploaded in the future. I'm AJ Baker.
And I'm Ethan Jakowski, and we'll see you guys in the next newscast. Good night.